Hey, hello again, this is Dan with Ledger Support. In this video today, I'm going to show you how to stake FLR tokens. Let's do it. So before we start, just a few things. First of all, you don't need the FLR app to actually stake FLR. What you need is the Ethereum app. So you can already open the Ethereum app on your Ledger device. There is a FLR app that's buried into developer modes in Ledger Live, but you don't need the FLR app to add an account or stake FLR. So we won't need it for this video. Second thing, staking FLR is currently not supported in Ledger Live. Instead, we're gonna have to use a third-party app called Oracle. Don't worry, this is perfectly safe. Oracle doesn't have access to private keys. Those are secured by your device and only your device. Since we're not gonna need Ledger Live, I'm just going to close it. And then I'm going to go directly to app.flareoracle.io. So the next thing I'm gonna do is connect my Ledger device to the Oracle app directly so I can stake my FLR. Now, unfortunately, there is no direct connection between your Ledger device and your Oracle app, so you have to use MetaMask. So let me show you how to pop your FLR accounts into MetaMask and then connect that to Oracle. So I want to have MetaMask installed on my computer. This is just my regular MetaMask account, not connected to my Ledger device at all. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to Connect Hardware Wallet. At this point, I want to make sure the Ethereum app is open on my device. I repeat, you need the Ethereum app. You do not need the FLR app. So I want to make sure the application is ready shows on my device, and then select Ledger, continue, select my device. And here I'm looking for my FLR account. You can see my balance is still in ETH. That's because I'm still not connected to the FLR network. I'm still connected to the Ethereum network. What I can do though is open this little drop-down menu here and select the FLR network. If FLR is not an option yet into this menu, then you'll have to manually add FLR. In my case, FLR is already an option, so I'm going to select FLR, close this, and you can see here's my FLR balance. So now my Ledger device and my FLR account by extension are connected to MetaMask. I can go back to Oracle and click Connect Wallet. Now I'm going to select my Ledger FLR account and click Next, and then click Connect. Great, it worked. You can see my Ledger FLR account is now appearing in this little widget here. I'm done connecting my account. Now, before I start staking my FLR, just a few more information. You cannot stake your FLR directly. You first need to wrap your tokens. So your FLR are going to be transformed from FLR to wFLR. And just so you know, wFLR is not supported in Ledger Live. So once you wrapped your FLR tokens into wFLR, the wFLR balance will not show in Ledger Live. Now, don't worry, it doesn't mean the tokens have gone. It just means that Ledger Live cannot detect that balance yet, but it's still secure by your Ledger device. Okay, so my current FLR balance is about 70 FLR tokens. I'm going to wrap half of that balance. Now, just so you know, I don't want to wrap everything, because later, when I need to create a transaction to stake my wrapped FLR, I'm going to need FLR, non-wrapped FLR, into my account to pay for the transaction fees. So again, it's important that you don't wrap your entire balance. Leave at least 25 FLR so you can pay for transaction fees. Now, I'm going to wrap half my current FLR balance, so that's about 35 FLR tokens. Before I start creating a transaction, there's two things that I need to make sure of. First of all, I want to make sure that the Ethereum app is open on my device. Again, the FLR network uses the Ethereum app, not the FLR app. So I want to make sure that the Ethereum app is open. I should say application is ready. The second thing that I want to make sure of is that blind signing is enabled in the app. I'm going to use this button here to go into settings, press both buttons, and then blind signing here should say enabled. If it doesn't say enabled, then use both buttons at the same time until enabled displays on the screen. Okay, so in my case, blind signing is enabled. I can go back to the application is ready screen. This means the Ethereum app is open on a device and ready to create the transaction. Now, I'm ready to wrap my FLR. So as I say, I'm going to wrap half of my current balance, so that's 35 FLR. So I select 50%, I click wrap. You can see MetaMask opens, and it's creating the transaction for me to wrap my FLR. So I'm going to click confirm, and I'm getting a prompt on the device to review the transaction. That's the address of the smart contract that I'm going to use. the network, the fees that I'm going to pay, very important, make sure that the fees are not too high. And now I can select accept and send and press both buttons simultaneously to confirm and sign the transaction. The wrapping was successful. You can see my current FLR balance went down from 70 FLR to 35 FLR. That is also reflected in LedgerLive. You can see that my current balance in LedgerLive is 35 FLR, but wrapped FLR is not reflected in LedgerLive again. The only indication that a transaction happened in LedgerLive is that sent transaction here. Okay, now I'm back on the Oracle app. I'm going to start the second part of the staking transaction, which is to actually stake, or in this context, delegate the wFLR to a delegator so they can stake on my behalf. Now, don't worry, when you say delegate, it doesn't mean that you're delegating your private keys. The private keys remains in your device at all time. And that's the reason why you can also undelegate anytime you want, because you still have those private keys. So to delegate my wrap FLR, I'm going to go to the Delegate tab here, and I'm going to click Add a Delegation. Now here's a list of all the delegators that are active. So I'm just going to grab the one at the top. This is not an endorsement, it's just convenient. And I'm going to click Delegate. Okay, so now the app wants to know how much of my wrap FLR I want to delegate. In my case, I just want to delegate 100% of it. So I'm going to select 100%, click Delegate, and create the transaction in MetaMask and confirm it on my device, just like we did when we first wrapped the FLR. So I click Confirm. Now I'm getting a prompt on my device to review the transaction. So again, this is a blind signing transaction, no worries. Amount 0 FLR, because remember, we're not delegating FLR, we're delegating wrap FLR. The address is, again, the smart contract of that delegator. Network, FLR, that's normal. The fees, very important, so always double check the fees. And then, if all looks good, then just select accept and send and use both buttons at the same time to validate the transaction. Okay, great. So it looks like my delegation was successful. Now that my FLR has been successfully wrapped, then delegated to a delegator, I can sit back and wait for rewards to start accumulating in my balance. Just so you know, you're not stuck with the same delegator. So if you wanted to, for example, add a second delegation and delegate to that second delegator 50% of your FLR, that's also possible. So you just need to click on your current delegation, then bring that number back to 50%, and then click Delegate. What that will do basically is that will undelegate 50% of your delegated stake. Then you can take that 50% and create a new delegation from the delegate claim. This way, you don't have to rely completely on one delegator to do a good job, but you distribute your delegation across multiple delegators, which is usually a better option and also safer for the network. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, there's two ways you can get support. First, you can go on the Help Center, so that's support.ledger.com, and you can check the Help Center article called How to Wrap and Delegate FLR Tokens. This one just basically goes through all the steps that I just described. The second thing you can do by clicking the Contact Us button here and then starting a new conversation. Basically, you'll be chatting with a bot, explaining what your issue is. In this case, please make sure to explain your issue in detail so we can provide assistance quicker. And then one of our agents will get back to you and assist with the problem. That being said, I wish you a happy delegation. Take care and have a good weekend. Bye-bye.